Hi, this is Dumpster the Cat from Rags, and you're watching a podcast where nostalgia comes alive. It's Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. Roll it.
Welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, where nostalgia comes alive. Join Jake and his friends on a journey through pop culture of the past, where they interview professionals in the worlds of acting, directing, writing, puppeteering, and so much more. Who will they be chatting with today? Find out in this Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, the podcast where nostalgia comes alive. Happy here with us. Thank you for joining. As always, I'm your host, Jake Duffenbaugh. With me today, as always, our co-host, Chris Bixby. How's it going?
Doing good. Hello, everybody. How are you, Jake?
Doing great as always, Chris. Thank you for asking.
Yes, we had a wonderful interview for you folks. Someone who a lot of fans of our podcast will definitely remember and recognize. But I'm not going to waste any more time introducing it. Jake, why don't you tell everyone a bit about who we spoke with?
Yes, thank you very much, Chris. Today's guest we have in this episode is Australian actress Joanne Samuel. We'll touch base her acting career throughout this chat, including her involvement in some series and films we'll talk about later on, such as Mad Max for portraying the role as Mel Gibson's wife, Jessie. And of course, we'll talk about, her experience get to work with Mel. And of course, a lot of Wiggles fans might know her best as Mrs. Rosemary Bingle in the Wiggles movie. We'll also talk about her directing and producing jobs and so much more. Hope you all enjoy our chat with Joanne. See you then.
Here it is.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, the podcast where nostalgia comes alive. Today we have with us is the amazing Joanne Samuel. Welcome, Joanne. Happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here.
Delighted to
Of
have you.
course. Yes, likewise. Delighted to have you here as well. So, to kick things off, we know who you are, but for those who don't, could you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Okay. I've been an actor since I was 5 years old, really. I've done lots of different things, films, some theatre, a lot of television, and I have directed 2 features that are going okay. And at the moment, we're living in Sydney and about to build a house in the mountains.
Oh, nice.
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 Awesome.
So, what was your childhood like before acting? Did you always want to be an actor? Was it something you ever thought you would be doing as a career?
I always knew that's what I wanted to do. I always wanted to be an actor. Since my mum and dad used to do amateur musicals, and I used to sit there as a kid and watch them on stage. They used to do Rodgers and Hammerstein things like South Pacific, Annie Get Your Gun, that sort of stuff. And I'd sit there in the audience and really want to be on stage and really want to be doing it. So I told my mum, I said, that's what I want to do. And she said, okay. So I went to, I was only a little tot. I went to ballet classes and tap classes and music classes. And I had a fantastic dance studio, Honeybrook Studio in Balmain. And that was just such a fabulous place.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
That's so great.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure.
I also
So now,
theatre to learn
Huh?
acting. I also
yeah,
went to independent theatre. So that was great
Nice.
too. Mm.
that's great. So now to starting out, in acting, of course, you got to making, guest appearances in various crime dramas. So can you kind of talk about your involvement with those? Kind of starting out
You mean
acting
like
and getting to be involved in those? Yeah.
Matlock and Homicides and Divvy Fours and all those things? That was Crawford Productions, which was a big production house in Melbourne. When I left school, I went to work at a casting agent. And I used to do all the stuff around the office, like I'd make the coffee, get the lunch. And these faxes would come through on this antiquated machine, and different castings for different shows, and a lot of them were for Crawfords. And one particular one came through this day, looking for a young girl, 16, 17, long hair they wanted, and they were pretty specific. And the casting agent that I worked with, M&L Casting, they said to me, would I be interested in auditioning? I said, yeah. Because at that time, I'd already done a bit of work. I'd done some commercials and things, and they knew I was keen to be an actor. So I auditioned and got the role in Matlock Police. They flew me down to Melbourne. In those days, they used to fly you down and put you up in a hotel, and it was just fantastic. And then I went on from there with Crawford's. I did lots of different shows with Crawford Productions. Skyways was a long-running show that I did. Then I came back to Sydney, and I did things like The Young Doctors, Class of 74. And I guess the biggest thing I did was Mad Max 1. I played Jessie Rockatansky opposite Max, opposite Mel Gibson. That was amazing. That was incredible. And that never stops. That just, we still all get together and do Q&As and talk about things. And yeah, so that keeps going, Mad Max 1. It's like the gift that keeps on giving.
Absolutely. And that's
That's
actually a
awesome.
perfect segue. What was, doing Mad Max like? Because, that's, obviously gone on to be such a huge, franchise.
Yeah. It was incredible. Well, initially I didn't get the role. I auditioned for George Miller, and it was out of myself and another girl. But George was concerned that I had a pretty well-known face because I'd done a lot of television, and I'd been on, TV Weeks and TV Times and all those sorts of magazines. And he was concerned that my face was too well known. So he went with another actor, a girl called Rosie Bailey. And
Hmm.
she was going to set this day. I think it was her first day on set. And she was on the back of a motorbike going out with the stuntman, Grant Page. And it was very early in the morning, and they were going along a country road, and the sun was behind them, and a semi-trailer did not see them as the sun was behind them and pulled out straight in front of them. So the stuntman, Grant Page, who is an amazing, well, he's gone now, God rest his soul, but he was an amazing stuntman. He laid the bike down and he slid it underneath the semi-trailer.
Oh,
He
wow.
saved, yeah, I know, pretty amazing. He saved their lives, but Rosie broke her leg quite badly. And so I got the call. And George said to Byron, who was the producer, he said, I'll give Joanne a call. And so I arrived in Melbourne a little bit after everybody else had arrived, like all the other actors. And I remember being in the hairdresser in Toorak Road in Melbourne, which is a pretty posh place in Melbourne. And I could hear these motorbikes coming down Toorak Road. It was just incredible sound. And then all these guys dressed in leathers came into except I think they were vinyl, not really leather, came into the hairdressers, and they stood around me saying, we're going to get you bronze, and picked up my hair and left. And I went, what have I come to? So the set was a
Oh
little
my
bit
gosh.
like that. Yeah, they were method acting, the bikies, because Hugh Keys-Byrne, who played the toe cutter, he came from the Shakespeare Company in London. He was an amazing actor, very generous, lovely man. but they all played their roles to the hilt. It was like they lived it for the whole 8 weeks. Mm. So it was incredible on set. It was, I had worked on nothing like it. We broke records, sound records. We broke records where actors left their motorbikes, and for the biggest arc of leaving a motorbike, everything was real. There's no green screen. So the stunts were real.
That's great. That's wonderful. So now documentary side of things. Now, of course, you got appearing in documentary for that related to Mad Max, which is called Mad Max Fans Beyond Wasteland. Now,
Yeah.
you're also like getting to be involved in that.
Oh, look, that's pretty simple. Really. You mean the documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty simple, really. It's always an honor and a privilege to be asked to do something like that, to come along and be part of it. So yeah, pretty simple, pretty good.
Yeah, to kind of your opportunity to kind of tell your story to be part of that, which I'm sure it was
Yes.
great for you to have the opportunity doing that,
Yeah, that's
so which is
right.
great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So now, what was it like playing the title character Allison in Allison's Birthday?
Oh wow, that was a long time ago. I think I was only about 17 or 18 when I did that. Um, and the great John Bluthal was in it. He's gone, and so is Bunny Brooke. Um, it was a little bit scary in some ways. As being a Christian, you sort of think about those things, being possessed by demons and stuff like that in it. But it was very early on in my career, and the producer, David Hannay, he was a great friend, and he was tremendous with it. He was really good, Hannay, at getting first-time directors with scripts and giving them a go. But I think all in all, it wasn't a bad movie. It was okay. So I enjoyed that. I have enjoyed most things I've done. There's been very few things I've done that I didn't enjoy. And
Right.
I really love to work. I love the industry, and it's always a privilege to be given the opportunity to work. Mm,
That's lovely.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, of course. So now moving on to the thriller film, Early Frost, that you got to portray as a Chris for
Yeah.
for that film. What was that like? Because I'm sure it was kind of different, in the way for your experience to be involved, something that you already done already. So what was the kind of like you being involved in a thriller related film? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that was good too. Hannay was part of that as well. David Hannay, great actors. I love working with really good actors, and there were some great actors in that. And we had a ball. We all like, it was just a lot of fun. Yeah, that's a long time
Mhm.
ago.
No worries at all.
Yeah, long time ago. Flashing back and trying to remember everything about it.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
John Blake was in that, wasn't he? John Blake, I think, was in it. And
Mhm.
Might have been,
Nice.
yeah, he was a lovely actor. Yeah.
Yeah, so another film role that you did was playing Sonya Spain in Nightmaster. What was it like, speaking of working with legendary actors, working with Nicole Kidman?
Oh, that was great. She's a hardworking actor. Um, she spent. She's very intense, and she's one of those actors that puts herself in her space, and then she works hard at it. So you don't really get a lot of socializing on set with her, should I say, because of that. She is a very hardworking actor. We shot it in an old power station in the inner city. We did lots of night shoots, and that was amazing. Mark Joff was the director on that, and he was a very good director. I'd worked with him at Crawford's as well, because Crawford's was a place that trained up a lot of people in the industry, directors and editors and camera people, crew people. No,
That's
it was
wonderful.
exciting to shoot that film. For
Nice.
sure. Yeah.
That's
Uh,
great. Yeah. So now for your involvement, there are touch base, so maybe, already with films they got to be working on now. You got to uh acting for television, like you already mentioned in introduction later earlier on, getting to act as a regular in various television soap operas. Now, what was that, what was that like?
oh, so much fun. I used to think to myself sometimes there, think, wow, I could pinch myself that I was in a long running show with people that I loved, people that are still my friends today, actually. We still get together from time to time.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
yeah, lots of lines, like lots of lines. Um, Reg Grundy was the first company that I did Class of 74. Oh, no, I actually did Certain Women for the ABC. And that was like a forerunner. I would have been 18, 19 when I did that show.
Oh, wow.
Uh, yeah. And then when I went over into Class of 74 for Reg Grundy's, that was the first soap opera that Reg Grundy's did. And we got so far behind time that we were shooting stuff that was going to air in 2 days' time. And they were getting a little bit panicked because it
Okay.
was 5 days a week it would go to air. So I remember the producer coming in on set one day and saying, you cannot have a second take. If you muff a line, you have to keep going. And we just looked at one another and went, oh my word. He said, well, in life, people muff words, you know. So the only way you get another take is if you look down the barrel of the camera and went, oh, blew it. And then you'd get another take. But we did catch up. Eventually, we did catch up. Yeah. So,
Right.
yeah, yeah. And so I worked on that for quite some time and then went into The Young Doctors. And that was a lot of fun. We had a great producer on that, Alan Coleman. He was amazing. He kept the morale of the show going so well. It was actually during The Young Doctors that I got offered the Mad Max role.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah,
Okay,
and I remember
nice.
being called into the producer's office and him saying, I'm going to write you out of the show. And I went, oh, why? What did I do? And he just said, you got the part in Mad Max and I'm going to let you go and do it. So, because I had a contract, of course.
Right.
And,
Right.
he was just a wonderful man. He's gone now too.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, but I love that show too. I still see people from that show.
Oh,
We still
nice.
get together and have, you know, lunch and have a drink or something together. But
Oh, that's
yeah.
wonderful.
Mm.
That's great.
Nice. Nice. So now going back to films, one of your best known roles was in the children's world, playing Mrs. Rosemary Bingle in the Wiggles movie.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk about how you landed that role and kind of like what the audition process for it was like?
Oh, that audition process, because I've always had an agent.
Hmm.
And then so my agent put me up for the role and I got the part. I remember talking to the Blue Wiggle, Paul.
Anthony.
Yes, Anthony. Yes, and he and I was trying, and I said, well, with the character, you know, try. He said, Joe, one dimension, one dimension. Don't try to put anything else into it. And I went, okay. It's, because your audience is 3, 4, 5-year-old kids.
Right.
The Wiggles then, those guys were just fantastic. They were really compassionate, giving, really generous people. Worked so hard. Like the dance sequences and things that we did were huge
Right.
days. Um, those guys used to give up their Christmases to go to the children's hospital.
Right.
And
Yeah, I've seen pictures
Yeah,
of it. Yeah,
uh-huh.
they did that quite a
Right.
lot.
that was just fantastic. They deserved every success they got
Oh
because they
yeah.
worked so hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're still going strong now,
Yep,
you know?
still going
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Mm.
which you already mentioned, with Anthony. Anthony is still, doing still Blue Wiggle, and now,
I
now
can't
there's like
believe
a seven, there's like eight Wiggles now, but
that.
Yeah.
which is like wow. But I mean, I'm glad that they're still keeping it going for, I mean, not just, that what we remember watching them, but for a new generation, to see their Wiggles.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, not just in Australia too, but all around the world because I mean, they're even doing a world tour later on in the year.
Are
So,
they?
Yeah,
they're still out there going strong.
Isn't that fantastic? Hey,
Yeah.
that's
yeah,
brilliant. Oh, that is really awesome. I couldn't. I mean, it must keep them very fit because the shows are like. Because I took my grandchildren to the shows as well, and I used to think, wow,
really, wow,
yeah, yeah, the live shows the kids love. Get up and dance in the aisles, and
that's
you know,
great. I love
and
that.
twist. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was really good, really good. Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious. I know you kind of like, I mean, in a way, answer a tiny bit of it, but like before getting to work on that film, were already aware of the Wiggles before getting to work with them
Yes,
for the movie? Okay.
yes, yes, I was. Yeah, I was aware of them. I love kids stuff. Um, it's the best thing about having kids and grandkids. You get to take them to the cinema to see things that are kids' things. I still now am a GPG girl. I'm not really into violence.
Hmm.
I guess Mad Max is not really my genre. But I do love children's entertainment. It's really cool to see the kids' faces light up, and yeah, I love the
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
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 Mm.
So,
Yeah, that's
so,
great.
so it's kind of an interesting question. If you can remember, like with something like the Wiggles movie, were there like any like funny bloopers or outtakes that kind of took place while filming that movie?
Oh, there's lots of dance bloopers. The music was fantastic. Even the Captain Feathersword number was
Paul Paddock,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my
Uh-huh.
goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
yeah,
seeing him and all like the dancers dressed in like the pirate outfits. That whole
Yeah, the
the
Pirate Crew,
yeah,
yeah.
the Oots Captain
yeah,
Feathersword number. That was very well put together.
very good. I
Yeah.
loved it. I loved the music.
And then they did it live that same year, kind of exactly like how they did it in the movie, and it was just phenomenal.
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
a great choreographer. I can't remember her name now, but
Leanne
Leanne Hall,
Ashley?
no, Leanne
that's it.
or Leanne
Yeah,
Hall, Leanne Halloran.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And she was really cool. So in Australia, we shoot really quickly because we don't have budget to shoot to take our time. So
Right.
it's not a lot of time. You just get it done as quickly as you can and
Right.
as you can. Yeah. So I can't remember many. And they are actors that were in the suits, like
Right.
Dorothy.
Leanne Ashley was doing
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dorothy and
Dorothy and Henry and Wags. Yeah.
right. Like
yeah.
sometimes, you have to go again for them because because they were dancing in suits.
I know.
Um, it's pretty full on for them. So occasionally you might have to go again for them. But I'm just trying to think. Bloopers, not many that I can think of.
One of the things, one of like the one of like the parts of the movie that I just like still like so like enjoy where like there's a part where Mrs. Bingle like it's basically like, kind of like at the beginning where the guys about to do the show at the
Yeah.
school
Yep.
and then Jeff was like falling asleep
Yep.
and then Murray was telling Mrs. Bingle to like not blow the whistle, but she
Yeah.
did.
And Anthony
Yeah.
And
goes
then
crazy. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Mrs.
Yeah.
Bingle did blow the
Yeah.
whistle.
I remember that. That was a good day too.
Yeah,
We,
yeah,
yeah. Lots
there
of kids, yeah.
Yeah, there's so much that went into making that movie, with the actors, the suit performers, of course, who, don't always get enough credit because, with the Wiggles and Captain Feathersword, they're not like all like, covered up with these suits. But then the people playing Dorothy, Wags, and Henry, they're
Yeah.
they're in those suits, sweating their heads
Oh,
off, doing all these dances, hot potato, point your fingers, all
yeah.
these songs.
Yeah, Dorothy, would you like to dance? And
Yeah,
Yeah. No, it's a tough gig. It's a
absolutely.
really tough
yeah,
gig.
yeah. And
Yeah,
speaking
not,
of Leanne Holland, she got to, did a little bit of Officer Peoples for the group too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And also like the musicians who were involved in all the songs
Yeah,
and
yeah. Tom
the
Lindsay
the
did the
director, the
trumpets and
directors, the camera
Right.
people, like there were so many wonderful
Tony
people
Henry and
on the
Yeah.
drums. Yeah.
You
uh,
guys know a bit about it. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh
you
yeah. No,
know,
it was a good time, but hard work. I remember it being really hard work, the dance sequences and things, because we'd spend a bit
right?
of
Yeah, yeah. Because I remember the parts that like the
mm,
students that got to dance with them, and while
yeah,
Dorothy
yeah,
was there too. Yeah.
yeah. Those
So,
kids, I think, came from Leanne's dance studio.
Right. That makes sense.
right.
Yeah.
A lot of
Hmm.
the
Yep.
little kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gorgeous.
and then all of you got to like do like the let's have a party at the very end at the
Yeah, yeah,
circus
yeah,
tent
Yeah.
for Dorothy's
yeah,
surprise
Yeah.
party. I
Yeah.
can tell it was such a fun like shoot.
yeah. No, it is. It's really good. It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
It's so cool that that the OGs actually like still like performing in a way because there are times they actually got to do like reunion shows, which that
Yeah,
was so great. And
yeah.
then like with the movie as well, like it's kind of crazy that like they're like Ruggles fans I know that he first got to expose for the group was actually from the movie. We're just like, wow.
Yeah.
Which that's so you kind of so it's kind of cool for you getting to be a part of that,
Oh,
which
for
is like
sure. Yeah, well,
yeah,
as I said,
yeah.
I always see it as a privilege to be doing
Well,
it.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, of
Absolutely.
course. And and it's kind of crazy. I don't think you even know about this, but I just want to say it anyway briefly before moving on. But like I remember there was like some Wiggles fans like what can his name now? Joey Wiggle. Hello, by the way, if you're watching this, and you're very welcome, by the way.
Right.
Shout out. I remember like he got to like actually got to visit the school and seeing like
Yeah.
the trail where like the Wiggles like driving the big red car while
In a
doing
big red
the quack
car.
quack
Yes,
song. And,
Yeah.
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 I remember Greg like said something when some people asked him about his experience doing the film. And I remember he did say that he had a lot of fun doing
Oh,
it,
for
which
sure.
I'm sure West the guys will say the same thing.
Yeah. That was, I think, the first time that they worked on camera. Because previous to that, that was always live, I
Hmm.
think.
Well,
And
I mean,
they into
before
comedy.
that, they got to do the first series at first, and then doing it. I mean, it really
Oh,
depends
did
when
they?
he
Was that
actually
the way
did
around it was?
shit.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
first TV series,
And
yeah,
the thing about the Wiggles is all their stuff, and still
the
is.
videos and
Usually they're the
Oh,
ones
that's right.
running
They
it.
did a lot of the videos. Oh, they are.
Yeah, they are the
They
ones running it. But with the
absolutely.
Wiggles movie, they had this whole, film crew.
That's
yeah, it's
right.
kind of
It was,
whole different for them. It's kind of big
Yeah.
opportunity for them to get to, when the group was kind of like already huge at that time. That's
yeah,
like, which is like wow.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
that's
yeah,
right. It was huge. It can be
yeah,
overwhelming because if you are used to in control of what you do, and then all of a sudden you've got heads of department, and you got to give them their due to be able to work at their jobs. They're
Yes, and
Yeah.
the way they do it, like especially their experience, before the group was even started, like Greg Murray and Anthony got to have their experience doing in Macquarie University as teachers, so they kind of already learning how to do that way, how to do with the children, and I think they did a great job doing that,
awesome.
with the
Awesome.
Wiggles.
Yeah, awesome. I remember my youngest son, I brought him along on set because he had a Dorothy the dinosaur outfit, and
Oh, cool.
he was only
Oh,
about
oh, cool. Yeah.
3, and he used to get in it and dance in his Dorothy the dinosaur. And when I brought him out on set to meet the guys, he was just so blown out. And they gave him, he still got them because I gave him like the original art drawings that the art department had put together, production design, and they gave him a pile of them. So he's still got those.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
wow, that's great.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Speaking of with Greg briefly, back to that, I remember like recently he actually, I don't want to say it because since we're still on the Lucas movie topic, but I remember actually like recently I remember he posted something on his Instagram where like he actually found like where the school was of the location of that school. It's like
People do
wow.
that for Mad Max. People do that for Mad Max too. They
Oh,
go
Oh
wow.
to
gosh.
locations. We've
That's
got
funny.
Japanese fans that are just hardcore Mad Max, and they come out to Australia all the time, and they've become really good friends because we went to Japan as well, and they come out
Right.
and they visit all the
Just to
sites.
see them, it's like wow,
I
that's
know,
crazy.
I know, I know. It is
Yeah,
fantastic.
That's
yeah,
great.
it's
Mm.
great. So now, of course, another actor that got to be involved in the Lucas movie was the amazing Tony Harvey. He got to portray as a Wally the
Yes,
Great. So,
Wally the Great.
did you got to ever like meet him? If so, like, what was your experience getting to work with him for
Oh,
that?
sure. I got to meet him. He was on set. His character was a fun character, wasn't it?
Oh my
Uh,
goodness,
Yeah, like
yes.
yeah, he was
yeah,
really
yeah, where he's
fun.
trying to stole like Greg's
Yeah,
wines
yeah. It
and
was
trying to win the
so,
whole competition, and Dorothy was there most of the time with it.
yeah, yeah. I know. It was fun. And he was another hard work. Well, everybody worked hard, but he was another
Right.
hard working actor. But yeah, I remember you'd sit down and have maybe morning tea and lunch together, have a chat about life and the meaning of it, and then get back up and go to the makeup and get back on set. Um, and but he was really fun too. That was a fun
Uh,
part for him. Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
that's great. I don't know what he's been doing nowadays because
No,
he's kind
I
of one of
don't
those
know.
like people that got to be kind of like private,
He
with
was a very
acting and
private
everything.
person. That's true. Yeah, he was a private person. Same as Nicole as well. Like she was, when they got to set,
Right.
they got to set. That was it. Whereas when I get to set, I like to meet everybody and chat to everybody and find out about the boom guy and the cameraman and just get to know the crew. Hmm.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure he got to do other things than, just,
yeah,
that
Oh yeah.
film itself. I
yeah.
mean, some people can be like that, but anyway, it's kind of cool that like for from us, for me and Chris, how huge Google's fans we are that like from us got to grow up watching the videos and the albums and then the series and then the movie it's pretty cool even though you're only was only just a part of that, but it's pretty
Yeah,
cool that you got to be a part of that in
100%.
our world in any way because I remember watching that movie so much so like
Where are you guys? Where
You
are
know,
you? Where are you in the
both of
States?
us are from the East Coast of the
Yeah,
Okay.
USA.
Jake's in Maryland and I'm in Massachusetts.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
both of us are the fans of the group, but from the US. So it's
Yeah.
pretty
Right. Yeah, 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 yeah. Gee, it's
it's
been
pretty
full on
cool.
times over there, hasn't it?
I know. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
8:36 for us right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
So you've had your dinner?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But it's cool that they're still doing their own things now, and all those things. But thank you for what you did to be a part of that you
Thank you.
know
That's
when we grew
what.
up watching it.
Oh,
So
that's lovely. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
yeah, of
Thank
course.
you. My pleasure.
I'm sure both me and Chris will keep watching the movie, because that's a big part of our lives too, from
Ab-
Yeah,
watching a group first, what I mean?
Absolutely.
yeah.
So now moving on from the Wiggles movie and some more of your other film roles, what was it like playing Barbara Parker in Christmas Down Under?
Oh, that was terrible. That was probably I guess that was one of the projects that wasn't much fun at all.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to.
Yeah, no, the production company itself wasn't really organized or competent, so it
Okay.
was a bit of a yeah, it was a bit of a fight. But
Got it.
yeah,
Okay.
that wasn't fun
Gotcha.
at all.
No
Yeah,
worries.
yeah.
Okay.
I hope nobody ever gets to see it.
Yeah. I mean, no worries at all. There are times, they have their projects that you got to work on that you did have fun, and some others it didn't. I mean, it
Most
just
of
kind of
them,
happens in showbiz.
it does. I guess, most of them were fabulous,
Right.
but that one can be remembered for not being so good at all. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Mm.
Right. So now moving on to what about Sal of you going to
Oh
portraying
yeah.
Alice? What was that like
Well, that was working
being
with
part of
old
that?
friends. So
Oh, that's
that's
great.
great. And Jared, the guy that played Sal, Down syndrome actor, just so beautiful. He'd come into set every day and be singing Irish ditties, and he'd say, "You look beautiful today," and he was just so full of joy and love, and he was really good. And of course, Johnny Jarrett, he is probably one of my oldest friends. I've known Johnny for about 50 years, and
Wow.
he directed it and he was in it. So that was fun working with him and Karen Fairfax, and Rick Herbert, all those guys are all my friends, all my old friends that I've worked with over the years. So it was easy. And also my son, he line produced that movie. He was
Oh,
working on it.
cool.
Nice.
Yeah, he did a great job on that. Um, yeah, he was. It was good to work with him too.
That's
Of
wonderful.
course.
We
Yes.
were, yeah, we were working in this old mansion in an inner city, um, big old home, and we were absolutely convinced it was haunted because
Oh my
things
gosh.
I know things. It was an old
Oh boy.
boys' school that, like, for kids that went to court, and like a detention center style of thing. And from what we read about the history of the place, it wasn't a very nice place to be at all. But things would go missing. They would just go missing. And we go, well, I put them just there, like pieces of wardrobe or the wardrobe lady's petty cash. But then the next day, in a locked room, it would all return. And we were just flabbergasted. We just could not work out how that. Still to this day, the production manager refused to go up into the wardrobe room. She just went, not going there. There's something going on, not going there. And we'd walk down the steps and doors would just slam behind us. We'd stop and go, how did that happen? So it was, that was scary. But we just thought in the end that it was probably the spirit of some mischievous boy who was feeling unloved and lonely, and who knows.
Right.
Yeah.
There is a term for that. I can't remember what it is now, of things that go and come back. There's a term for it in that world. I can't remember, it's quite a long word. But yeah, people that talk about ghosts and the afterlife, they actually recognize that as a thing within it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
now, after talking about a lot of your, acting roles, could you talk about some of your directing and producing roles?
Sure. Well, I actually ran a youth theatre in the Blue Mountains for about 15 years,
Okay.
um, in between everything. We used to do about 6 different performances, including Shakespeare, a year, musical theatre
Oh,
and
cool.
different stuff. So I directed some of those and produced some of those plays. The kids were fantastic. They just were fantastic. Some of them are working now, some of them are at uni now. I've stopped doing it. I thought 15 years was enough. But during
Yeah.
that time, my son came to me with a movie, The Legend of the Five, which is about 5 kids that get swept into a vortex of another world. So we were shooting like a blockbuster on an indie budget. We
Interesting.
shot a lot, yeah, we shot a lot of it in the Blue Mountains.
Hmm.
There's a beautiful place up there. It's a bit like Jurassic Park with big ferns and things. And we had an actor in a suit, and that was very hard. We had lots of special effects on that. Directing is tough. I think I prefer to act, but it is an amazing process as well. Um, and controlling about 25, 30 people on set, being a little bit like an air traffic controller, where everybody,
Hmm.
and I do love working with actors. That was hard work. It rained a lot. And we'd work in the rain because the rain gives it a really nice atmosphere. I remember saying to the cameraman, how much rain is too much rain, for the camera and everything. He said, oh, rain so much as the wind and the rain. So we all had everything covered up in, plastic, and we wore our raincoats and umbrellas and big boots, and we just kept going. We just kept shooting all through the rain.
Wow.
It was good. That was really, really good. Once again, working with old friends on crew, that was fantastic. And of course, working with my son, that was great. Um,
Yeah, it's always great for you to get into working, if your friends, that they always like to work with. It's always a good
right.
chemistry instead of like
Yeah, or your
being in
family too. Yeah.
projects. Yeah,
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 you
exactly.
get
And
a
like
team.
instead of like have to be like, oh, do I need to work with that? It's like you always have fun doing it. It's which is always
Yeah,
great about that.
yeah, you work as a team. It's really good now. Like that's why Sal was good. What about Sal as well? And yeah, it's really, really good that way. I love it. And then then I did the Red Shoes, the next step, which I co-directed with my son. He stepped up, and that was amazing because we we the 2 people wrote beautiful music, beautiful songs, and we shot it during COVID, and that was difficult because we had a whole
Oh gosh.
I know, we had a whole pile of dancers, ballet dancers, at really top level ballet dancers who rehearsed in Brisbane and really got to know the songs and the choreography. And then when COVID hit, they couldn't come to shoot. So we went to another ballet school, Tanya Pearson. Those kids from that ballet school just stepped up, and they were fantastic. We had an awesome choreographer, and he was from the Australian Ballet, Daniel, and and we had an American girl, Juliette Doherty, who came out, who played the lead because she'd done previous films as a ballet dancer and an actor. And because the ballet was really, really of a high level, she was fantastic. And she played opposite a guy called Joel, and he was brilliant in his dancing as well. He'd never acted before. So my job was to try to really help him along. Joel Burke. He did a great job. And there was another actress on it, Carolyn Bock, who has done a lot of theatre, and she's just a true trooper. And she played the harsh ballet mom of the ballet school, and she helped a lot with Joel. She'd warm him up of a morning with his acting and everything, and she was amazing. She did a fantastic job.
Oh,
And
that's
that,
great.
That's
yeah,
great.
during COVID, we had to work in a bubble. So we got permission from,
Right.
what a crazy time.
Mm.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
we had to get tested every 3 days.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gosh.
and that was just painful. So we'd sit in the car in a queue
Yeah.
and go in, and somebody sticks something up your nose, and then you go around and come back again, and all was clear. But yeah, it was tough. We had locations fall over on us because of COVID. We spent a lot of time at the Parade Theatre, which is a beautiful old teaching theatre from NIDA, the National Institute of Dramatic Art. So we spent a lot of time there, and that was fun. That was great, working in the theatre. Beautiful stage area. I used to love to watch all the dancers come on stage and warm up.
Hmm. Yeah.
It was
Right.
great. Yeah. So
That's
the music
wonderful.
was great, the dancing was great. It was ballet romance, you know. Once again, kids movie.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
of
yeah,
course.
really, really good fun. It was.
That's great.
Um, but hard work, hard
Hmm.
work.
Yeah.
But everything worthwhile is hard work, isn't it? You
Right.
know?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. It's pretty like, interesting, throughout your career you've done, so many, acting side, but now, you're trying to learn with the happen with the other side, trying to learn about more, directing and producing, which is always, pretty cool to do like other things, not just acting, but
yeah,
also, again, have opportunities to learn how to do those type of
yeah.
things.
Oh, I think so. I think that I love the industry, and I just want to continue working in it. So it is really, really good to be able to stretch a bit and learn. It is so
Right.
different being on crew than being an actor. And that really hit home to me, the differences in acting as being an actor and sitting in your Winnebago and waiting for, to be called on set, and being on set from 6 o'clock in the morning till 7, 8 o'clock at night, whenever, and being continually there. It's very different. But it's great to learn it. Keep the neurons in your brain moving,
Right.
learning. Mm, mm.
Yes, exactly. Since we're about to getting close to wrap things up, I'm kind of curious to know, what you're working on now. Are there any projects that you've been working on
I have got a
that you
project
can
that,
talk about?
no, I can't talk about that one. Look, my son Jesse Ahern, he's got a couple of projects, and if there's anything there, we always try to work together. But at the moment, I've got one project that I can't talk about it's really exciting. Okay, well, he's got a couple of projects getting up. He's actually working on one at the moment with American people. that have come out to shoot.
Okay.
But I really can't say too much about those either,
Right.
because it's right in the beginning stages for him. But he's going really well. He's got about 3 or 4 different projects on his slate at the moment, films and series. I guess series is the new way to go, isn't it? Everybody likes watching, binging series. So yeah, we'll see what this year brings. See what happens with those projects. But my project is just mine, but I'll definitely bring Jessie on if he's got the time. But Jessie will also help us build the house. He's really
nice.
good at Yeah, he's really good at that. He's built a couple with us. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's great. Yeah, looking forward to more projects down the road, for your son,
Yeah.
and of course, and more for you down the road.
Yeah.
So last question that Chris is about to ask, so we usually ask every single guest at the very end. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay.
Thank you, Jake. Of course, this podcast is called Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. When you think of nostalgia, what do you think of, or how would you define nostalgia?
Oh, I think nostalgia is something that is a memory that gives you a good feeling, that brings back great memories. I love old movies with tap dancing in it. Those old black and white movies. That's nostalgia for me. The dancing, the Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, Gene Kelly,
Yeah, Fred, yeah.
Singing in the Rain, those sorts of movies. I love them. Yeah, I love Christmas Story. I always watch It's a Wonderful Life. You know that movie?
Yeah,
Yeah,
classic.
Yeah, of course.
Classic
Yeah.
movie.
Classic, yeah.
So I love those old movies, and that's nostalgia for me because it takes me back to my dance studio days and tapping. I still tap. I can still tap. I just love it. I'm a musical theatre tragic. I love musical theatre.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
great.
it's great. So that's nostalgia, and to me, nostalgia is just that. It's memories that make you feel all warm and fuzzy and smile.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Absolutely great words to end
Thank you
it
so
on.
much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Joanne, thank you so much for taking time to do this. This was a blast.
Oh, thank you for asking. It was really lovely to
Of course.
finally meet you guys.
Yes,
Yeah.
lovely
Yes,
meeting
me
you as well.
too.
I hope
Yes.
we
Thank
I
you so
hope
much
we
for making this happen.
see each other again.
Yeah,
Yes,
me too.
absolutely. Well, and enjoy the rest of your day. This was a lot of fun.
You too. God bless you.
You as
Yeah.
You
well.
too, Joanne. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much again.
Bye.
Glad to make this happen. Bye. Take
Bye.
care. See ya.
And it's goodbye from us as well. We absolutely enjoyed our time speaking with the wonderful Joanne Samuel. Keep on the lookout for more wonderful interviews coming your way. And as always, what do we say, Jake?
Keep nostalgia alive. Take care, everyone. See you next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another wonderful Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode. Be sure to follow Jake and the Happy Nostalgia team on social media, check out our website, and stream the show wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And as always, remember to keep nostalgia alive. Bye-bye.